How many of you can honestly say that you text and drive on a daily basis? Do you think about the potential outcome before doing so? How many people do you think really realize just how dangerous texting and driving can be? And what are you willing to do to stop? I have discovered that texting and driving is very dangerous. I myself can admit that I sometimes text and drive. In doing this, I've realized that many different things come of texting and driving. A few years back, we lost a very good friend and also the pastor of our church in a motorcycle crash due to texting and driving. This is when I got my first rude awakening. Texting and driving can not only harm your own life, but it can have an impact on many others as well. I often suggest to my family and friends to either allow someone else to type out the message or to simply wait. My goal is to get them to realize that it's not as important as we seem to think it is. If you stop yourself from texting and driving on a daily basis, just a few people like us can make a difference and prevent accidents from happening. Stopping people from texting and driving is personally important to me to prevent losing lives. It's also important as technology advances, our phones are able to do so much more than just send messages. Future generations and our generation need to be persuaded to stop texting and driving. Today I would like to talk to you first about the different consequences of texting and driving. Secondly, I would like to speak to you about the different ways one may send a message while driving if it must be done at the moment. And lastly, I will talk to you about the different things we as everyday drivers may do to prevent other people from texting and driving. The first point I will be telling you about today is the different consequences that may come from texting and driving. Our country is becoming more and more advanced in technology. This makes it easier for people to use their phones while driving. There are so many different consequences that may come of this issue. The problem is there are a lack of people that realize the consequences of texting and driving. We need to do everything in our power to help these people become aware of the hurt that may come of this action. The need is for people like you and me to take action by using our personal stories and statistics to bring others to the realization of the seriousness of their actions. According to DMV.org, 9 people are killed every single day due to distracted driving. Along with this, over 1,000 people are simply injured every single day due to a distracted driver. The problem is that, according to the same website, in 2015, 42% of all teens admitted to texting and driving. The reason is that there are not enough preventative measures to stop this from happening. There's always an opportunity to stop someone from distracted driving. It's very simple to say a few words to persuade them to put the phone down while driving. Learning to stop texting and driving can save so many lives on a daily basis. Texting and driving is a nationwide issue as well as right here in our hometowns. According to the United States Department of Transportation, 3,450 lives were claimed in 2016 due to distracted driving. The same website also states that 391,000 people were injured the same year, also due to distracted driving. During daylight hours, 481,000 drivers are using cell phones while operating their vehicles. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention states that anyone can be affected. The driver will be 16 years of age or older, but the passengers in the car can be of any age. According to this website, there are so many different types of distracted driving, but the use of a cell phone is the most common. Other things may include eating while driving, messing with the radio, and other things causing us to take our eyes off the road. It states that there are 3 different kinds of distracted driving, including visual, manual, and cognitive. All 3 of these manage to take your mind off driving. They state that texting and driving is the most dangerous because it includes all 3 types of distracted driving. I'm sure that you can see the need for people within our nation to stop distracted driving, and now that we see that need, we will move on to how we may be able to put a stop to all of these gruesome statistics. This is how you go about putting a stop to texting and driving. If you are unsure of how to prevent texting and driving, there are so many different research articles that may explain how to go about this task. Researching these places will give you an incentive to stop your peers or family members from texting and driving because these very same websites will also tell you how texting and driving can hurt someone else. After researching different ways to prevent texting and driving, it's time to apply them. These can be applied in the car or even outside of the car. Take realization to when the person driving picks up their phone. Begin to make yourself aware of this action. Once you realize what they are doing, politely ask them if you can help by doing the task for them as the passenger to prevent a distraction. Now that you know what it takes to simply prevent texting and driving, we will take a look at the different ways this can impact our nation. Stopping texting and driving may not only save your life, but also the lives of the people in your car as well as the other car involved if there is one. There are many different positive results that come from stopping a peer from texting and driving. According to an article written by Ann T. McCart, David G. Kidd, and Eric R. Tiho, the percentage of people that use cell phones while driving was calculated before and after laws were formed on this subject. These calculations prove that 7% of people using cell phones while driving after the laws were put into place. If we choose to allow our peers to continue texting and driving, many more deaths and injuries may occur. This number will not drop unless we take the preventative measures to allow them to do so. Our friends and family members will continue to be involved in car accidents due to texting and driving if we do not put a stop to it. As you can easily see, putting a stop to texting and driving can very well reduce the number of deaths caused by this action. I've mentioned the different ways texting and driving is currently impacting our society. I also spoke about how we can easily put an end to these negative effects. Lastly, I've talked about the ways our nation has improved by outlawing cell phone usage while driving. What if your child's generation is the one that suffers from automobile accidents due to the progression of technology? After realizing the different things that may occur due to texting and driving, speaking to your recently licensed drivers, friends, and family can prevent these things from happening. I'm going to leave you with a short phrase to remind you to stop texting and driving. You text, you drive, you pay.